Welcome everybody. This is the next installment for my Star Wars Armada ranking of all the upgrades. So this one is weapons team. The weapons team slot is available for the Victory Star Destroyer, the Imperial Star Destroyer, the Gladiator, and the Raider. For the Rebels, it is available on the Assault Frigate, the MC-30, and the MC-80 Liberty class only, not the Home 1 class. There's 7 different upgrades for this one, and my last one is Veteran Gunners. Even though it could have some uses, I just don't see it being nearly as useful as the others. Veteran Gunners allows you to exhaust this card and re-roll all your dice. Now, unlike leading shots where you only choose which ones you want to re-roll, this is all of them. So it's 5 points. And it's just a way much of a gambler one. Now, it could be useful if you have a really terrible roll, but I'd rather just have other upgrades that I'll discuss later instead. So number 6 is Ruthless Strategist. So it's 4 points, and it could be useful when it's a heavy anti-squadron one, because it allows you to deal an extra damage to a enemy squadron if you can also damage one of your own squadrons. So it's pretty situational, but it could be a good way to kill an already damaged bomber before it has the ability to strike you. But there's so many other ones that I just wouldn't recommend it. So the next one is Sensor Team. This could be more useful now that they're quad turbo lasers, but it's still not as good as the other ones. This allows you to change a dice to an accuracy. So if you had quad turbo lasers, well, then you go ahead and get a extra additional free blue dice as well. So it's definitely more useful than what it was before. I probably would have had this last if it weren't for the quad turbo lasers. And also with the flotillas, them being able to use their scatter, a guaranteed accuracy is getting more and more useful, but still not as good as the other ones. So I really like the next one for dedicated carriers, and that's flight controllers. So rather than just having Ruthless Strategists where you actually hurt yourself, having flight controllers gives each one of the ship that you activate increased 1 blue dice, which is pretty great. Even if it's a Y-Wing and you get 3, or if you have Dutch, instead of rolling 3, he's rolling 4, or an X-Wing rolling 5, or even Wedge Antilles could be rolling up to 7. It's definitely pretty useful. The next one that I like is new and is a little bit situational because it's dependent on other upgrades, but it's only 2 points and it's Fire Control Team. If you have other ways to modify your dice, either with Vader or Screed, this is a good way to get 2 critical effects. Like if you have an APT and a regular standard one, or if you have Dodonna, and you can go ahead and try to squeeze in 2 criticals. Each one you get to choose the worst among the 4 if you have XX9 turbo lasers. So it's definitely pretty useful. Number 2 though, and this is a great one for any ship that has black dice, is Ordnance Experts. It's only 4 points and allows you to re-roll any number of black die. This is way better than Veteran Gunners, because Veteran Gunners you have to roll all your dice. This one you roll only the ones that you want. And it's also good for anti-squadron rolls for those that are the Raider 1s and you have 2 black dice, or even the Raider 2s and you have a blue and a black. This is a great way to increase your damage and more likely to get those black critical effects with APTs if you have this. So any ship that has black dice, I would highly recommend Ordnance Experts. And the number 1, the best upgrade that I love for so many different ships is Gunnery Team. It's 7 points, so it's a little bit more expensive, but if you have a ship that has a arc that is way more powerful than all the other ones, like your assault frigates, particularly if you have Akbar, or your Liberty MC-80s, or your ISDs, or your Victory Star Destroyers, being able to reach out and have that wide arc be able to fire twice at 2 different targets is great. There are so many times where your enemy is going to make you choose between firing between one of two ships, but with gunnery teams, you can fire at both of them. Definitely put this on your heavy hitters, the ones that you're also maybe putting a turbo laser upgrade on. Don't put this on ones that are more closer range or don't fire as many dice. Go ahead and give them other upgrades, but for anything that has dominant red dice in a large arc, go ahead and try to give them gunnery teams. So that's all for now. So thank you and goodbye.